For your Caesar, Cardiff City ride with me for your Caesar. For your Caesar, Cardiff City get litty for your Caesar. She want a diff boy, swagger 1 point, yeah, diff boy. She want a diff boy, swagger 1 point, yeah, diff boy. For your Caesar, grab a little something for your Caesar. We the geezers, swagger stone cold like freezers. She want a diff boy, she want stabs, not Fitzroy. She want a diff boy, she want stabs, not Fitzroy. She want a big man, says she want a man from...
Right then. Cardiff City 3, Rotherham United 0. And that was one of the most complete away performances we've seen from this side. I went through yesterday with 5 things. And of course, on the breakdown, we gave Gabe Osho his flowers, whilst also delving into the ridiculousness of referees in League One. However, this is all about the individuals, controlled, intelligent, physically dominant, and crucially, ruthless when the moments came. So let's get straight into the player ratings. As always, this is going to be stat-backed, context-driven, and I'm going to use my ratings, not FootMob's. I'm going to use FootMob's stats, but I got my own rating system, so if you're not familiar with it, 5 is okay. If you get 5 out of 10, you did your job, nothing more, nothing less, and then it goes up from there. But we're going to go back to front, subs, and then finally the manager. So, first and foremost, Nathan Trott. I was so happy to see Nathan Trott back to his best on the ball. He gets a 7 out of 10. And you start with him. It was a textbook do your job away performance. Statistically, he had 1 save to make, conceded 0 goals. He faced an XG of 0.31, and he also prevented 0.31 goals, which tells you that Rotherham didn't really threaten. Trott dealt with it when they did. On the ball, probably wasn't his cleanest day in terms of the stats. He had 20 accurate passes from 32 at 63%, 5 accurate long balls from 17 at 29%. I'm not worried about that. What I am most happy about is that he didn't look nervous on the ball. And that matters because he has looked nervy. And we played out from the back fine and he was good. Cardiff didn't need him to do anything risky. He went long when required. He claimed a couple of high balls, punched one when needed. Stayed switched on despite long periods of doing absolutely jack. He had a clean sheet, very calm, no errors, 7 out of 10, baby. Perry NG, right back, Perry NG. And this is one of those performances where, look, on any other day, a performance of this level probably gets a man of the match. But it's one of them days where you realise just how good he is and how he's back to his best. Especially when you look at the data, like defensively, 8 defensive contributions, 3 interceptions, 4 recoveries, 2 tackles, 2 clearances, did not get dribbled past once, 5 out of 9 ground duels, 1 out of 2 aerial duels, 32 accurate passes from 45, 9 accurate long balls from 14, 12 passes into the final third, 2 shots on target from 2 attempts, no assists, none of those flashy numbers, but absolute balance, discipline, intelligence, and this is exactly what you want from your experienced fullback in a young team when your back's against the wall. It was a real dominant performance from him, and like I said, any other day he probably would have got man of the match. It was just that we were incredible. It gets an 8 out of 10. He's back to his best. Will Fish, look, this was really, really strong defensive display from Will Fish, built on positioning, discipline, and winning headers and clearances. 7 clearances, 4 headed clearances, 1 block, another one who wasn't dribbled past once. No interceptions, but, he didn't need to, I guess. On the ball, 22 accurate passes from 28, 79% accuracy, 7 accurate long balls from 12, 7 passes into the final third. Where Fish impressed, apart from his long balls and the absolute ridiculousness that they are, is his decision making. No rash challenges, no diving in. He allowed Cardiff to keep a high line without panicking. He's still learning, he's still developing, he's still young, But this was another really controlled and mature performance from the centre back, and he gets an 8 out of 10. Also, Gabe Osho, man of the match. My man of the match. Absolutely dominant. You start with the defensive work, but the ball work is pretty damn good as well. 11 clearances, 6 headed clearances, 2 interception, 14 defensive contributions. Another one who did not get dribbled past. That alone is elite centre-half output. On the ball, 17 accurate passes from 21 at 81%, 4 passes into the final third, and they were some real quality passes. 1 chance created from one of those balls, 54% long ball accuracy. But beyond the stats, right, this was a guy, this was leadership. This was a guy who won first contacts. He cleaned up second balls. He stepped in confidently. He used his recovery pace. He set the physical tone from the first minute. And this was a really dominant centre-back performance. And he absolutely deserves it. It's been coming. He's been very, very good for the last couple of away games which he's played. He gets a 9 out of 10, man of the match. And Gabe Osho has arrived. He is a Cardiff City player. Joel Bagan, he gets a 7 out of 10. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, the first 3 names that we just done, or the first 3 outfield players, just very, very good. Joel Bagan was solid on the left side, and this was another really tidy, controlled performance from him. On the ball, he had 30 accurate passes from 36, 11 passes into the final third, 3 accurate long balls from 4, 2 corners delivered, 1 tackle, 1 block, 3 clearances, 3 recoveries, 4 out of 4 defenders. Not one of our back 4, or our starting back 4, got dribbled past. Massive, absolutely massive. His crossing probably didn't quite land. He had 0 from 5, which found the mark. But this probably wasn't a game where he was going to get that overload and that overlap. He held his position really well. He recycled the ball excellently, and he allowed others to play. It was solid, it was disciplined, and it was reliable. 7 out of 10. Mr. 7 out of 10, Joel Bagan. Ryan Wintle. Look, Ryan Wintle's afternoon will, of course, be defined by the red card. And I still think it's a bit harsh because I think Osho gets across. I think there's another defender there as well. But I feared the worst. Like, he's kind of in. They're chasing him, and it is what it is, isn't it? It's one of them. But it's a big blow to lose him for 3 games. And I thought he started off the game really well. Before the sending off, he had 11 accurate passes from 14 in 20 minutes. 4 passes into the final third. 2 accurate long balls from 2. 1 interception, 1 recovery. He had started really well. And this false 9 system really, really suits Cardiff. And I've got a big conversation starter coming on my channel this week, and probably tomorrow actually, where I think people will have some stuff to say, because I'm going to ask the question if we're better off with false 9 than we are with a traditional 9, even when Yusuf Salis comes back. So it's a conversation. Don't get your knickers in a twist. We're just going to talk about it. But, back to Ryan Wintle. He was very, very good for 20 minutes, but unfortunately, the foul that led to the red card changes the whole dynamic of the game. And even though Cardiff coped brilliantly, you can't ignore the moment. It put pressure on his teammates. It alters the tactical picture. And because of that, this has to come down considerably. So he gets a 6 out of 10. And he generally got that sort of mark from a 5 because I thought he was very good for 20 minutes. Alex Robertson. I thought Alex Robertson was excellent yesterday. I think people don't always appreciate how difficult it is to start in midfield in one role, being aggressive, high, box-to-box 8, to then suddenly being the sitter without the protection behind you. And statistically, he was excellent. 42 accurate passes from 48 at 88%. Rarely gave the ball away. 4 chances created, the most in a match by any player. He had expected assists of 0.39, 63 touches, 6 passes into the final third. And it's when you look at his defensive work, again, for the second week in a row, 5 recoveries, 1 tackle, 3 ground duels from 4-1, 2 from 2 aerial duels. He dictated the tempo, he found space between the lines, and he consistently made the right decisions. He was calm, he was intelligent, and he was technically secure. This was a high-level midfield performance from him. He gets an 8.5 out of 10. Joel Colwill, as Mr. Bott would say. Joel Colwill's performance will go under the radar. Not with his teammates, not with his manager, and not with a lot of fans, but some fans it will go under the radar. But it shouldn't. The work rate was insane. 5 tackles, 5 recoveries, 6 defensive contributions, 32 from 36, passes at 89%, 2 chances created, 51 touches, 6 from 8 ground duels, 2 from 3 aerial duels. He linked the play, he pressed relentlessly, the man was bloody everywhere. He won duels, he did the dirty work, and he let the others do the attacking work. This was a selfless, intelligent, higher output, high mileage performance. The guy was everywhere. 1 minute he was pressing the centre backs, the next he was winning tackles in midfield, and the next he was over in the corner supporting the right back. He was everywhere, and he made it feel like we didn't have 10 men. If it wasn't for Gabe Osho, he gets man of the match. 9 out of 10 for Joel Colwill. Next up, Ollie Tanner. Talked about this a little bit yesterday, but Ollie Tanner, I think, made a point to some of his critics, because I didn't really understand those critics. He was relentless yesterday, so hard working. It was a real all-round winger performance. Creatively, he created 3 chances, he gets 2 assists, 2 accurate crosses from 4, 86% passing accuracy. Off the ball, he gets 4 recoveries, didn't get dribbled past once, 67% ground duel success. He stretched the pitch, he delivered quality, and he constantly asked questions of Rotherham's backline, and they struggled with him. He was direct, he was brave, he was productive, he was ruthless, and he worked for the team. What more do you want from someone? He gets an 8.5 out of 10, and much like Perry NG, normally a performance like that gets you man of the match, but your Willocks and your Oshos and your Joel Colwills just went to another level. On Chris Willock though, he was ruthless in moments. Statistically, he got 1 goal, 4 shots, 21 accurate passes from 22, 95% accurate passes, by the way, the most in the game for anyone. 8 touches in the opposition box, did not get dispossessed once. Cannot tell you how vital that is when you've got 10 men. Not everything came off, but when it mattered, he delivered. And that's what top attacking players do. He looks like the player we hoped we were getting now. He's consistent, he's confident, he's working hard, and he's very, very good. He gets an 8 out of 10. And by the way, another one who was very, very good, Amari Kellyman. I thought he was electric yesterday. Offensively, he gets a goal. He's got a 0.46 XG. 8 ground duels from 12, by the way. 8 ground duels from 12. Unreal. The most foul player in the pitch. I thought he used his body so intelligently yesterday. Defensively, he made 4 tackles, 3 recoveries. Every time he gets the ball, he's direct, he's aggressive, he's fearless, and he constantly forced them to foul him. He is a nightmare to deal with. Those long legs get lots of little interceptions and that led to a goal. He gets an 8.5 out of 10. What I really like about him is he's fully bought into Cardiff City. He's fully bought into this team, the manager, the fans, everything. And it just didn't bother him. You know, he starts as a false 9, and then 20 minutes later he's in midfield with Alex Robertson while Joel Colwill's doing all the bloody running, and he didn't bother him. He was excellent. And he's a clever player. He knows when to slow it down. He knows when to stay down, just to break up play a little bit when you've got 10 men. He's got an elite mentality. And I said it yesterday, and I'm going to say it again, just so people know it was a joke, but it's not a joke. Sign him up. Up to the substitutes then. Di Turnbull gets a 6.5 out of 10. 25 minutes. Got a little assist in there. Tidy passing. Intelligent movement. Did his job really, really well. Knew when to slow it down. Knew when to keep to play. Knew when to, do the attacking side. He was very, very good. Good rugby tackle in there as well. Kean Ashford, 6.5 out of 10. It limited him in impact in the minutes he got, but I thought he was really safe in possession. He's Keane's looking a little bit rusty, but I thought as the game went on, he got better on the ball, looked more secure, and he was up against a physical opposing player, and I thought he did a good job. Ronan Kipaki out. He gets a 6.5 out of 10. Played 14 minutes, 100% passes. Very calm, very composed. Looked really good defensively as well. And what I really liked about this is he's had some iffy performances off the bench coming in at left back. You put him back in on the right and he was excellent again. Just like so calm, composed. And that is a massive thing because that shows that the issues or those spotty performances at left back off the bench, they haven't done him any damage. He still knows what he's about. He knows his role. He knows his job. And he's very damn good at it. He is just very unfortunate that Perry NG is playing so well. Isaac Davis, impact sub, yes. 13 minutes, 1 shot, 1 goal, 100% shot accuracy. Got his goal, and like I said yesterday, I was really, really pleased for him because we've been waiting for that to come off the last few tight games we've had away from home. The manager's put him up front, and he's nearly sort of got through on the break. It's a very, very good finish, by the way, on his left foot. Drives, and he could have easily taken it to the corner, and he didn't. And this shows the mentality of this team and these players under this manager. It's like, no, go get another. Put the game to bed properly. And yeah, he was really good. Lots of pressing. Had a nasty elbow to the face, which was naughty. And I hope the FA pull that up because the ref didn't see it and the linesman didn't see it, so they can charge him because there was no need for it. And you could see a few of the experienced Cardiff players were not happy with that. But we shall see. Probably not because we're Welsh for some reason and then they don't like that. But there we go. It is what it is. Isaac was very good. Hopefully he's not out for any length of time because I think he's looking sharp playing through the middle. Callum Chambers, a brief cameo, but professional, no mistakes. And what I liked about it, when Callum came on, he was constantly pushing the line up to the halfway line, getting the back four up, or back five as it was then. But he was constantly pushing them up to the halfway. None of this sitting deep, defending your own box. Get up to the halfway line, make them play. Love it. He gets a 6 out of 10 purely because of the time he played. And then the manager, Brian Barry Murphy. Big balls. I had a lot of time for this guy. Like, finally, a manager with balls, but with the tactical knowledge to back it up. This was a guy went down to 10 men early, away from home, in a squeaky bum part of the season. If we'd lost yesterday, we'd have been down to second, and then people's heads are going to fall off. Cardiff never lost control. The tactical discipline, the intelligence of the subs, the intelligence of the reshape after Wintle goes off, is a total belief in these players, in his tactics, and in their system that they can play with 10 and do it just as well. It was an absolutely elite performance by every single player, by the team, by the manager, by the coaches, and this was what I would say is coaching clarity in action. He gets a 9 out of 10 for yesterday. I was very, very impressed, but I was very, very impressed with Cardiff overall. Like I said yesterday, one of the best performances I've seen with 10 men ever. Absolutely unreal. So glad for Osho. Joel Colwill hasn't played a lot of football recently, but boy oh boy did he remind everyone what he's about. Alex Robertson was excellent, dropping in the 6 in the middle of the game. Perry NG was excellent. Chris Willock was excellent. Tanner was like everybody was just excellent. But it was just a pleasure to watch us not sit back and not defend our own box and be down to 10 men and encourage pressure onto us. We put the pressure on them. Their fans were booing after like 50 minutes. Tells you everything. Thank you so much. I've got some really interesting content coming this week. Over on my personal channel, we've got a video on false 9 versus target man systems and whether Cardiff are better with a false 9, among other things. Just a bit of a conversation starter. Got a Cardiff City phone in tonight. Don't forget that. If you haven't watched it already, yesterday we dropped 5 things you learned from the game, and we also dropped the breakdown last night, which was interesting. We gave Gabe Osho his flowers, as well as talking about the refereeing, backed up by some stats. But thank you so much. As always, keep the faith, and I'll see you in the next one. Nice one.
This channel is powered by an incredible membership community on Cardiff City World and patreon.com/AcePodcastNation. Becoming a member unlocks exclusive rewards from early access to live event tickets, bonus content, and even the occasional inside transfer scoop when we get it. But more importantly, it allows us to bring you top quality Cardiff City content 7 days a week. Across those 7 days, we're talking match previews, exclusive interviews, instant match reactions, the breakdown podcast, tactical deep dives, the spotlight series, Bluebirds Rewind, Academy Focus, and just so much more. Led by myself, backed by an army of passionate Cardiff City fans, this is content created by fans for fans, balanced, professional, and 100% all about the club we all love. If you enjoy what we do, then join the community today and support what we are doing as we help to keep Cardiff City World flying high.